This is brand new video we've got, and you can see the glow, and it looks like, I'm hoping those are firefighters in that shot. Of course, you can't tell because they are just silhouetted.
It looks like they're just taking pictures.
Oh, yeah, you are right. You are right. Those are people just up there taking pictures. Of course, as Chief Michael Hernandez had said, this really isn't a good idea. He told us if you can see flames, you really probably are in a pretty dangerous situation.
If you're just joining us, this is about the time when we come on the air for News 4 today. A very different situation, of course, for you this morning. Fire broke out around in the Caughlin Ranch area about 12:30 overnight. Several evacuations. That's when they began. You've got wind gusts 60 miles per hour. You've got power outages, and you've got people trying to get out of their house. Obviously, a very hectic situation, to say the least. Firefighters tell us at last check that 3 homes had been destroyed, and they were working to protect 5 homes.
We have so much heat from this fire, and it's, what, 400 acres at this point?
Yeah, 400 acres.
It is creating its own wind system this morning.
Mike Hernandez, what he said, it doesn't sound like the winds are going to get any better.
Exactly. If we go to our weather graphics here, the Weather Service has actually extended the high wind warning. It was set to expire this afternoon at 1. Now it expires at 4 o'clock.
As I'm driving up this road, it looks like that's sort of an area of focus. I see a lot of lights and sirens in the distance. It looks like firefighters are attacking this flank of the fire that is flared up.
You know, what's going through your mind as you're watching and listening to all this unfold?
What's going through my mind is, you know, did the rest of my neighbors get alerted? Did they get out? What else could I have done to, you know, what else could you take? But then when you leave a situation like that, you suddenly realize it's just things.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be devastating to lose your home, but it happens so fast.
The flames are approaching us. You can see behind me Cache Hill Road off of McCarran. The homes in this area, the flames are starting to travel up the embankment right now, and it looks like the homes right on the top of the hill here on McCarran are in threat's way. It looks like these flames are starting to move at a rapid rate again.
Last we heard, it had burned at about 400 acres. What's it looking like now?
It still continues to grow. The fire is broken off into 2 large sections.
We want to let you know that all Washoe County schools are closed today, except Natchez, Incline schools, and schools in Gerlach. Every other Washoe County school is closed today, so don't send your kids to school. You're going to have to find some other means for them today because of this fire, the Pine Haven fire. All Washoe County schools are closed.
We have new information that they are going to set up a second shelter down at Galena High School. They're telling me that is supposed to be up and running in about 30 minutes or so. So for the people who are down south being evacuated, Galena High School is going to be an evacuation center, an evacuation shelter, so they can get down there a little easier than getting all the way up here to Reno High School.
We've also just posted on our Facebook page, the station has, that Our Lady of the Snows School, St. Albert's, Sage Ridge, Little Flower, Bishop Minogue, and Brookfield School, which is on McCarran, all of those schools are closed today. However, Brookfield has its little campus still open. So those are the private schools that we've got in our region. You can see just how hazy and smoky the skies are this morning. You can't really see any flames at all in this shot, but we do know that that fire continues to burn this morning.
Now you can see firefighters are still on scene in several of these homes, making sure no embers come up and re-spark any flames. Now we're going to walk a little bit toward this area. You can see there have been some power lines that have been affected. Flames did reach up to the power lines, which may have been a reason why some of the power was left from this area. You can also see a lot of charred brush right over in this area as well. The fire really made its way up this mountain. You can see some embers are still starting to pick up some smoke in the northern section of this mountain out here. Again, extremely, extremely windy. Not good for any embers to fly up and re-spark flames. But at this time, it looks like most of the big flames have died down, and a lot of charred brush at this moment up on Mountainshire Road near Aberfeldy in the North McCarran Boulevard exit.
We have been getting your photos and your videos from Facebook, and look at this shot. This is courtesy of Brandon Early. You have the Reno skyline, and then you have a wall of fire behind it there along McCarran Boulevard. An incredible, incredible picture. Thank you, Brenda, for that.
Well, Bill, and one of the Chief Hernandez was the most difficult spots for firefighters right now is the Tanzanita Canyon. 250 of acres burned so far in this fire.
Dina, thank you so much. We're having some problems with your mic. We'll try and get it fixed out. If we can stay on that picture, though, we see that gentleman with the garden hose. We watched him walk out of his house, turn that thing on, and yes, as you said, he's taken matters into his own hands simply because the fire is too great right now for firefighters to be on every single flame. But it was interesting. This area we thought was all burned out, but these embers blowing and blowing, this blew almost basically right into this gentleman's yard. We're going to get some information from a news conference in just a couple of minutes, but as far as the homes that have been completely destroyed, at least 20, and an estimated another 10 that firefighters were working to try and save. Not sure if they were successful in doing so, but that's the latest on that front.
Well, Bill, right now you're looking at a structure that was a home nearly an hour ago, and now you can see it's just a foundation. The Reno Fire Department has kind of made a little base camp here on the top of Windy Hill. I think for the most part, this is an area where you can really get a 360-degree angle of just how impactful this fire has been here in the Reno area today, and not just in the Windy Hill area. This expands all the way over to the Manzanita Lane areas and Ridgeview.
And also some new information that just came to us. This is from St. Mary's. They have gone into their code triage mode in the potential fire area. 3 nursing homes and 1 assisted living facility on standby right now to evacuate that those facilities.
And already, of course, we know there has been 1 death in all of this. A gentleman earlier today had a heart attack on his way of being evacuated this morning. Obviously, extremely stressful situation. And again, there are those concerns with so much smoke in the area.
The Weather Service, about 10:30 this morning, they reported a gust of 79 miles an hour, sustained winds at 55 miles an hour. At my house, I had a gust about 50 miles an hour. So that's what we've been dealing with all morning long. Really, right around midnight, I noticed the winds pick up, and all throughout the morning, the winds were strong.
You know, driving up here, guys, I hate to say it, and I apologize for having sunglasses on. I'm trying to protect my eyes. Driving up here was basically like driving through hell. It's the only way I can describe it. I haven't seen anything like this since the waterfall fire in Carson City years ago. You're seeing literally soot and ash blow across the streets like snow does in the wintertime. We've all seen that here in Nevada, but it's black, and it just blows across the streets. It's almost blowing your vehicle off of the road, and then the wind will die down like it does here for 2 or 3 seconds. We've got Truck 18 filling up right now. They're pumping back up. Washoe County Sheriff's deputies patrolling the area, making sure that if you don't have to be up here, don't come up here. It's really kind of a situation they're still trying to get a handle on. You're seeing fence posts that are still on fire, but the firefighters I just spoke to in pretty high spirits. The 3 guys on this truck right here, Truck 18 with Reno Fire, in pretty high spirits. They've definitely had a workout this morning, you could say, but at the same time feeling pretty good. You know, they're doing their job. They're trying to save homes, and you know that's all that they can do. But this area up here right now is still a pretty good hot spot, as you can see.
Well, here it is. This is a map we want to show you. It's our new evacuation area, some new expanded area. The evacuation area has been expanded. It is now McCarran north to Caughlin Parkway and south to Caughlin Ranch Elementary School and Alum Creek area. You could see it right there. It has expanded. Obviously, as things change, that area changes. I want to tell people too, Silver Legacy, I know a number of different hotels and casinos have been helping out. They are currently offering, if you are in need, Silver Legacy is offering a reduced rate of $39 for the night if you are displaced because of this fire. So there are options for you out there.
And we've heard from El Dorado, and we've also heard from the Sienna as far as very reduced rates for those who've been displaced by the fire.
The entire community really coming out today, and you also can see the wind. It's pretty obvious. The wind is strong. And thank you, Brian. I've got to be held down right now. The wind is strong up here. Obviously, the flames are going to be blowing because of this. So keep an eye out for any of those embers. And if you are asked to leave your home, folks, please do so. Be safe today.
We're down here in the valley in Bartley Ranch. That's exactly right. These are city workers that have broken out hoses to try and just keep this ground saturated. There's an amphitheater down here. There's a picnic area. Then there's the main Bartley Ranch offices and main building out on the other side. You can see there's also another engine working through right now. I believe it was engine 13. It just went by us. But you got some workers, some city workers that are out here trying to make sure that this beautiful park here and what is still standing remains standing in case some of those embers, we're seeing embers flying over our heads right now. I mean, that's how serious this is you'll see something catch fire in the top of a tree and then it goes right over the top of your head and lands in the field behind us.
I'm actually down here at the Reno Livestock Event Center where people can bring in their horses if their homes have been evacuated. They can board these horses here. They told me they're not charging anything right now. So far they have about 29 horses. They can hold about 440. So if you've been evacuated, if you have livestock, bring them down here. They're going to board them. The only thing that they say that you need to bring is their water, feed, and things like that.
So at 12:30 behind me here, the stage is going to fill up. You can see the podium is already set up. We have our News 4 mic there, and we are just waiting to hear from the officials. Like you said, Governor Brian Sandoval, Mayor Bob Caughlin, plus the fire chief, police chiefs.
I wanted to convey some information for you. As far as I'm concerned, we are throwing everything we have against this terrible fire. I have declared a state of emergency here in Washoe County.
They have stopped the forward movement of this fire. They are celebrating the fact that they have saved 4,000 to 4,500 homes, but they are also grieving along with those who have lost their homes. 25 structures either just really burnt down by this fire, monumentally impacted, or maybe some slight impact. So the next 24 hours, they're going to be figuring out when they can let people back into their homes. We heard possibly noon tomorrow, but it's still a very active situation out there. There's still going to be a lot of wind for the rest of the day.
You know, there's going to be a lot of people who are without power now that probably will be without power for a little while. Their first reports that came in just about a half hour ago on this issue is that 4,100 customers are without power, 150 gas customers.
This is the fire evacuation map. This is the area that has been affected by the fire thus far, put out just a short time ago. We have it also up, or should soon here, on our website.
But there are two phone numbers you can call if you need that type of information. You can call 211 or 337-5800, 337-5800, so you can get that information that you need about your neighborhood and when it is safe to go back there. If you look really closely in that live shot there is just a few snowflakes starting to come down, so hopefully this storm will kind of come in a little bit more. It's not supposed to be super heavy. Jeff was saying just kind of a dusting, but I think every little bit helps at this point as long as we can get those winds to calm down just a little bit.
So we've had gusts in the 50 to 60 mile an hour range, but they're starting to calm down somewhat. 18 miles an hour right now with a gust close to 35 miles an hour in Reno, 25 in Truck.
And what locations, if you're just you know, joining us now and want to donate, where can people drop off those items?
The Red Cross does have their center down there at Reno High School, but they're saying don't take any kind of homemade food because they can't accept that because it's a health violation. But if it's packaged food, snacks and little crackers packages, bottled water, soda, anything like that, they can accept that there. They can also accept blankets that haven't been used before. If you want to take blankets that have been used, you can take those down to the Salvation Army.
We heard in the conference earlier, multi-million-dollar fire already, and they say that they really hate estimating an exact dollar amount, but we are learning some new information about how exactly this is going to be paid for. Throughout the day, there's been a lot of talk about this federal fund that's going to come down. Well, we know right now that federal fund is not officially approved. Just in the last 2 minutes, there's been some big news out here. The shelter locations are going to be changing. Here to explain the new ones is Cindy Brooks with the Red Cross. Hey, Cindy, what's going on?
Well, we are going to take Galena High and use this for a first responder shelter. So Washoe County firefighters and police will be housed here, and we're going to ask that evacuees, residential evacuees, go to Reno High and for shelter. When Reno High fills up, then we'll move them on to DeMonte High.
What we know so far is that it's roughly 2,000 acres. We've got over 455 personnel, that's fire suppression personnel working this incident. Total of 21 structures that have been damaged.
Not very windy out here right now, and you know, we started the day with fire, and now we are ending the day with snow, believe it or not. Some have said the phrase to me tonight, only in Reno. I'm going to step over here carefully. It's kind of icy out here up in the hills in Caughlin Ranch. You can see the snow that definitely did fall this evening. It's not falling right now, but you got evidence on this front lawn here of the snow that fell, and that is very good news, of course, for the firefighting efforts.